This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
Well, let's hope the old saying is true. April showers bring May flowers and plenty of rain for harvest, but not too much rain and no major storms. Welcome to the Farm Monitor, everybody. As you just heard, I am Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Burgamy. Once again, we've got a full slate of stories for you. Straight ahead on the program, shots in arms and educating Georgia's farmers. The length UGA extension is going to in order to ensure farmers have all the information they need regarding the COVID vaccine. Just months into his tenure as chair of the Senate Ag and Consumer Affairs Committee, State Senator Larry Walker is already making a difference. What he had to say about the future of Georgia hemp industry, rural broadband, and other key issues facing the state's ag industry. Plus, they're the reigning passport program champions. How this Brunswick dynamic duo racked up the frequent driver miles by visiting every single one of the GFB certified farm markets, despite COVID and despite a pandemic. It's all coming your way right now on the Farm Monitor.
With tens of thousands of COVID-19 cases reported among U.S. farm workers, providing accurate information to rural areas on the vaccine is vital to the agricultural industry. Damon Jones reports from Tift County and tells us about an initiative started by UGA Extension with the goal of doing just that.
Now more than a year into the COVID-19 pandemic, there is finally light at the end of the tunnel as immunizations are starting to be made available to the general public. In one industry that has been hit especially hard is agriculture, which is why the University of Georgia has partnered with several different organizations in order to provide information to rural communities about the vaccine.
We just want to provide the resources. Extension has offices in all 159 counties of Georgia, and we're used to partnering with our hospitals and the Department of Health in each county, and we even have farm worker clinics here in Southwest Georgia and across the state that are able to provide farm worker immunizations.
However, there are multiple challenges that must be overcome, like common misconceptions about the vaccine and, of course, the language gap.
There are concerns, I think, with farm workers who might be from other countries or have that language barrier there. There are definitely concerns that they would have the information in their own language in order to make a good decision about this and how it will affect them and their health. And so we would love to get information to them, to the workers, whether in English or Spanish or another language. The CDC has resources in many languages that cover just the facts about the safety of the vaccine, as well as some of the myth busters, some of the misinformation about the vaccine.
With so many different sources of information out there, UGA Extension has made things easier by compiling all the data and putting it on their website. Not only can you learn more about the vaccine, but it can also help schedule an appointment in your area of the state.
On that website, there is a COVID-19 button where you can find all of the resources for COVID, including vaccination resources that we've pulled over from the CDC website so that you can find them there. But I would encourage everyone to go to the Georgia Department of Health website where there's a big button that says schedule your appointment at your health department, or there's also a vaccine locator where you can just type in your county and it'll give you a list of every place in your county where they are offering the vaccine.
This makes the process much easier for the farmers as well, as they can get help and advice no matter what county they operate in.
They seem encouraged when we talk with them that this is on our radar. They seem encouraged that they can go to their local extension offices and get the information and get pointed in the right direction. Nationally, Extension is working on this as a partner with CDC, and there are a few grant funds being rolled out to help us really publicize the information more widely and more broadly, so we're thankful for that.
Reporting from Tift County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Meantime, another Georgia legislative session is now in the books, different from years past due to COVID protocols and social distancing, but nonetheless successful by many accounts. Certainly was for this young man, new Georgia Farm Bureau Governmental Affairs Specialist Jake Matthews, a former intern for both Governor Brian Kemp and Sanford Bishop. This past session was Jake's first as a full-time lobbyist. Jake saying he now has some memories that will last a lifetime.
I have deep roots, like in my family, with agriculture and natural resources. One side of my family has been heavily involved in forestry, and then my other side of my family has been heavily involved in water and natural resources, and so it's something I've been brought up in and I'm super passionate about. You know, Georgia Farm Bureau started many years ago as a farmer-led organization that is to be the voice for agriculture in Georgia. And so to get to play a role in that and be up here and advocate for and represent our state's agricultural industry and rural communities is very important.
With agriculture representing Georgia's #1 industry, the chairman of the Senate Ag Committee holds a crucial role in state government. As John Holcomb reports, that title is currently held by Senator Larry Walker, who was recently appointed at the start of this year's session.
After growing up in the world of agriculture, it shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone that Senator Larry Walker is now chairman of the Senate Ag Committee. Walker, who has been a member of the committee since joining the state legislature back in 2015, of course replaces former chairman John Wilkinson, and says he's humbled to be serving in the position and just hopes he serves the position well.
My first request when I got elected was to be on the Agriculture and Consumer Affairs Committee because agriculture is so important to my district. Certainly we know how important it is to the state, #1 industry in the state. 1 in 7 jobs in Georgia relate to agriculture. So I've been on the committee since I first got elected in 2015, and I'm very humbled and honored to be chairman this year.
This year is, of course, the first of the 2-year session, and already since taking the position, has been busy making sure agriculture remains successful here in the state.
We've been real delighted to not only put money into broadband, which of course impacts a lot of rural Georgia and is important to our economic development efforts, but we were able to restore some of the cuts to the Extension Service and to agriculture research, to the veterinary sciences program, and to the Department of Ag. So from a budgetary standpoint, it's been really good. We've had an update on our hemp legislation that we just passed out. We're optimistic that that can become a viable industry in Georgia and an alternative for our farmers. We passed a bill out this week with a due pass recommendation to make it clear that on state roads that oncoming traffic has to yield to farm equipment. As you all know, our farm equipment gets larger and larger, and so we felt like that was a good measure to support our farmers. But we've been quite busy.
The 2021 session ended March 31st. However, Walker says he's already looking into 2022 and how they can continue to support Georgia's #1 industry when they reconvene in January.
Georgia's the #1 state in the nation to do business, but I want it to be the #1 state for agriculture. And so we've got to continue as rural legislators to remind our urban counterparts how important agriculture is and to be sure we have policies that encourage and foster growth and success in agriculture. Agriculture is a very capital intensive business, so we need to encourage investment and have kind of certainty in our laws and legislation to where investment will want to come to Georgia in agriculture. It's also a very high-tech business, so you get into workforce issues. You've got to have a skilled labor pool for agriculture to be successful. So we need to keep that on the forefront too, what we're doing.
Reporting in Atlanta for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
In 2020, they traveled the entire state of Georgia, stopping at every single GFB certified farm market. Jennifer and Sarah's excellent adventure with the Farm Monitor continues.
So the best advice I can give people as they go into post-weaning overwintering and then leading up to calving is carefully and closely monitor body condition. I like to do it on an individual basis because there's a subset of thin cows that will hide in the population, will miss them. You can put weight on cows when they're in the second trimester pretty effectively. Their needs are quite low. As they get into that third trimester or into early lactation, it's very, very difficult to get a cow to put on weight. Almost all the parameters we have show that cows that are at least a body condition score 5 are going to have far less trouble than cows that are less than 5. Cows that are body condition score 5s make good colostrum. They tend to be more effective at giving birth. They have fewer issues with dystocia. In general, that's tied to also all kinds of other good things like breedback.
All right, welcome back to the Farm Monitor. It's slowly becoming a phenomenon. Talking about the annual Georgia Farm Bureau Passport Program. Year 3 is now underway, and if you're not familiar with it, the Farm Passport guides travelers across Georgia to GFB certified farm markets, offering items for virtually any taste or desire. In 2020, Farm Passport travelers made more than 6,000 visits to GFB CFMs. 2 participants in particular, though, close friends Jennifer Appleton and Sarah Ridgway, both of Brunswick, along with their trusty sidekick Tiny, visited 77 of the 78 markets across the state, missing only one of them due to the farm strawberry season ending early because of COVID. Now, for their efforts, Jennifer, Sarah, and Tiny received a very nice care package from Georgia Farm Bureau, as well as the distinct honor of being the reigning Passport Traveler champions. Even better, they documented their journey every step of the way. And joining us now is the creator of that amazing, amazing video, Jennifer Appleton, her friend Sarah, and of course, Tiny. Yes, the 2020 Farm Passport winners for Georgia Farm Bureau. Guys, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having us.
And Jennifer, I got to ask you right off the bat, because again, I know you're the mastermind behind that video. Have you ever considered TV? Because you've got some mad editing skills, and we are always looking for, people to help us out here in the show. Have you ever thought about a career in TV?
No, not at all. Thank you.
Well, Jennifer, Sarah, let's talk about last year, because again, this is a great program. Before either one of you, and Tiny for that matter, entered into this adventure, were you guys big farm market, explorers, or was the passport program a way just to kind of get out there and check out these farms?
Well, Sarah's actually always liked the markets and going to get fresh things. But the scope that this put on it was just so much larger than going to the local farm market. I mean, this was huge. The whole entire state was covered.
And give us a little background. Would you call each other? Would you say, hey, What farm are we hitting this weekend? Did you kind of plot your course, like Gilligan's Island? Did you plot everything out and just set that GPS and hitting each one? Or was it just kind of, let's wing it?
We started out picking strawberries in Enigma, Georgia, at Southern Grace Farms, and that's when we found out about the passport. And we were headed to Cordele, which is the watermelon capital of Georgia. And we just kind of went from there. And we've just kind of planned all of our 3-day weekends around this whole farm passport. We traveled and got stamps everywhere we went.
It does require a lot of planning. She'll say, let's go to this section of Georgia. So then it's my job. She's at work. So it's my job to get the book out, map it out, contact them, actually speak with someone to make sure someone's going to be there, because these are farms. Some people have met us at their home. One guy we woke up that was napping, and he came out and we bought some local beef from him. Yep. So it's been a very interesting journey or adventure.
Last year, I know this year there's 83 CFMs. Last year there was 78. You technically,
You've already been to 3.
You've already been to 3 this year. You technically hit all 78 CFMs last year, more than once actually, but you only got credit for 77. Talk about that story, because I kind of feel bad about that.
Well, it was like frustrating kind of, but when the woman answered the phone and her voice, she wasn't happy. She had to close early her season. That's what her business is about. So it was completely understanding. I mean, we offered to go to her house and buy anything she had jarred already or something. And she was like, no. So I felt very compassionate for her. And I mean, it was sad that we didn't get that last one, but it is what it is. It was still just the most amazing adventure ever. So.
Well, it seems like every year, our winners before you guys, they set the bar here. Now you guys set the bar here. And what's it going to take to defend that title?
Well,
more freezers.
We've been introduced to heritage pig, to grass-fed beef. I mean, our freezers just bustling. We have to freeze most of the fruit we get because there's just so much of it. We share it with our neighbors and strangers. So it's really been great for everyone. And we don't only go to the Farm Bureau farms. We stop at every farm along the way too. So we've hit a lot of farms.
Careful. That's how you get addicted to agriculture, Jennifer. It happened to me. All right. Well, Jennifer, Sarah, we cannot thank you enough for joining us. Congratulations. Best of luck in defending your title. Tiny, we want to thank you as well, dear, and have fun this year. And we want updates, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, when we come back, managing heifer inventories and why a registered Holstein makes for one of the best dairy animals.
We appreciate our brave men and women so much. Farmers and ranchers, sons and daughters, and people from rural America have answered the call to defend our national security for years and years and years in the history of our country. A lot of people don't realize it, but 44% of the military personnel come from rural communities and farms and ranches across America. And after they've served their time, they go back to their rural communities, and a lot of them are interested in agriculture, and we want to be there for them. The men and women that work so hard to defend our national security is perfectly equipped to assure our food security. And we want them to know that our Farm Bureau membership is always open to them, and we would be honored to have them in our presence. Our military veterans come back home to their communities equipped with discipline, determination, and the willpower to do very difficult things. In agriculture, farming is a difficult occupation. So they are equipped to take very good care of animals and cropland and meet those challenges. So through the Farm Bureau Patriot Project, we set up mentorships between veterans that come back home that's interested in agriculture with experienced farmers. We want them to build a trust between each other, to learn the business, and that farmer pass on resources that young veteran could use to be successful in his business. We're very thankful to our State Farm Bureaus for being a great partner with us to help find those veterans, and also the Veterans Farmer Coalition that is a great partner to us. But I'm proud of our organization. I'm proud that they are taking men and women that's dedicated their life to our freedoms and protecting our country to an industry or occupation that I love, and that's farming. We owe a debt of gratitude to our veterans for what they have done for us individually and for our country. And we want to offer to them to be part of our Farm Bureau family. And we encourage them to go to fb.org, our white website, and learn more about the Patriot Project. And hopefully they'll be part of our Farm Bureau family, and we would be honored.
Finally this week, when it comes to maintaining profitability on a dairy operation, there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
However, one way producers can stay ahead of the game is by focusing on what they can control. That includes managing heifer inventories. Miles Ramsey of Holstein Association USA explains.
Managing a dairy farm has never been easy. From market swings and price volatility for milk and feed, there's a lot that remains outside of a farmer's control. When it comes to genetics and technology, there has been tremendous progress in the last decade, allowing dairy cattle breeders to chart a more profitable course for their operations. And that includes improved management of heifer inventories.
One of the things that we see in the current dairy market is our dairies have excess heifer inventories. We've become very proficient at producing female offspring. Either it's sex semen or improved fertility rates and improved reproductive programs have allowed us to create more females than we actually need.
That's veterinarian Richard Wallace, senior manager for the Zoetis Dairy Technical Service Team. He says replacement heifers can end up being the second or third largest expense for a dairy farm.
And so when you have excess heifers, obviously that's a drag on cash flow, having too many heifers on the farm. And so one of the things that genomics allows us to do is pick better animals and keep the ones that are good and move the other ones on to a different career.
Genomic testing can lead to more informed decisions when choosing whether or not to keep a heifer and what breeding strategy to follow in order to maximize her offspring. Wallace says around 15% of the total heifer population is genomically tested today.
What genomics has offered is the ability to move herds in a different direction, in a positive direction, a little bit faster. So from a productivity and from a health standpoint, we can produce cows that will be more profitable for the farm.
The Clarified Plus genomic test from Zoetis and the related Dairy Wellness Profit Index is a comprehensive tool for helping producers breed toward not only improved production and reproductive traits, but also overall wellness and herd health.
What we've done over the last several years is collect data from herds in the United States that have good health records, allowed us to create several different wellness traits for cows and for calves, to really find these animals that are the healthiest, and we might want to call the 4-event cows. They calve, they get bred, they get preg checked, and they go dry. And they do that again and again and again. And in the process, produce a lot of fat and protein that allow us to then produce our dairy products.
Because there's so much information available on U.S. registered Holsteins, the breed is well equipped to make great genetic progress and contribute to farm profitability.
The registered Holstein cow makes one of the best dairy animals that we can have because she's got adequate size. She produces high milk production as well as components. We take that genomic test and you figure out what your goals are for your farm, and you can make a Holstein herd that's going to be one of the best in the country.
To learn more from Zoetis on dairy management strategies, visit dairywellness.com. For Holstein Association USA, I'm Miles Ramsey.
Miles, thank you so much, and thank you for spending time with us.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor.
Have a great week.